Let's start with the concept of endangered species. What is endangered species? This means those species who are less in number. That means those species who is being extincted. They are endangered because of deforestation and hunting. So we can say that because of the human activities, they are extincted. So to protect them, wildlife protection scheme was been introduced by the government. So through this wildlife protection scheme, they have introduced many projects like Tiger Project. During the beginning of 20th century, it was estimated that more than 40,000 tigers were there in India. Because of the illegal hunting and cutting of trees, there was a big danger for the existence of tigers. Project Tiger was started in 1973. In your textbook, it is given 1971, which is wrong. So Project Tiger was started in the year 1973. The main purpose of such project is to protect the endangered species from being extincted and also to maintain the ecological balance at national level. Till now, this project is implemented in about 44 regions. Now let's see a video that will explain you how this wildlife protection scheme helps tiger.
Hello and welcome to the Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Bandipur is part of a belt of forests that houses the highest number of tigers in the whole of India. So clearly something is going right. But there are a lot of challenges ahead and a lot that still needs to be done. Over the next half hour, we'll take you inside Bandipur to take a closer look at the efforts to save and protect India's magnificent tiger. Bandipur is part of the Nilgiris biosphere and is about 80 kilometers from Mysore in Karnataka. The area was a private hunting reserve of the Mysore Maharajas back in the 1930s. In 1941, it became the Venugopala Wildlife Sanctuary and came under Project Tiger in 1973. The park now covers 874 square kilometers as the Bandipur Tiger Reserve. This is an area which has actually seen the population of tigers increasing. With a density of 1 tiger per 8 square kilometers, the area is recognized as one of the highest density zones of the big cat by the Global Tiger Protocol. And we can vouch for at least one.
We are an excited bunch of people right now because we just saw a tiger.
Thanks in part to the number of tigers in Bandipur, Karnataka has overtaken Madhya Pradesh as the Indian state with the largest number of tigers. If you take this whole forest region into consideration, including Nagarhole and Tamil Nadu's Mudumalai and Kerala's Wayanad, this becomes the area which has the largest number of tigers in the world.
See, the tiger indicates the health of a forest. It is at the apex of the ecosystem. So if the prey base is good, if the fodder is good, if the trees are good, tiger numbers will be high, the densities will be high. So I guess our forests are doing very well.
In the overall grim scenario surrounding the protection of the national animal, an area where the number of wild tigers is actually growing is precious indeed.
When our park was declared as a Project Tiger during 1973, our tiger population just 11. Now, presently we have got 105. Rigid protection is the main thing to increase their population. We have got surplus prey population. So that is also added advantage. And one more advantage is there is no settlement inside the national park.
The Bandipur National Park home to an estimated 105 tigers. But just outside the park boundary is where habitation starts, where people are living. But Bandipur was the first tiger reserve in the country to notify an eco-sensitive zone outside the park to help protect what is inside the park. The eco-sensitive zone extends 10 kilometers from the park boundaries and means that certain activities are prohibited or restricted in that area, whether mining, quarrying or commercial hotels. To help reduce the entry of people living close to the park into the forest to collect firewood, gas cylinders are supplied to people living in the nearby villages. With this choice of fuel available, there is less chance of people venturing into the forest, which is a risk both to them and to the wild animals they may encounter.
Through an NGO called Namma Sangha, we had distributed almost 3,000 LPG connections free of cost to the local people, and it has become a very popular program which has been extended to the entire state now.
Bandipur is part of a larger forest area that crosses state boundaries into Tamil Nadu and Kerala, and the corridors between these habitats are of vital importance. There is attention being paid to preserving these corridors to allow wild animals a relatively safe passage from one zone to another.
Karnataka has done a very creditable thing wherein right from Banerghatta National Park, which starts close to Bangalore, 20 kilometers from Bangalore, there is a continuity of protected areas right up to Maharashtra with very few small breaks. Banerghatta Park joins Kaveri Sanctuary, then the Hills, then BR Hills, then we have Bandipur, Nagarhole, Brahmagiri, Pushpagiri, Talkaveri, Kudremukha, Someshwara, right up to Dandeli Anshi. So we have a total protected area network with some small breaks which also we are trying to add to national parks.
Second endangered animal is leopard. Leopard belongs to the cat family, that is smaller than lion and tiger. They are found everywhere in India, but their numbers are also less. It is found in large number in the forest of Gujarat. It often comes to human settlement, that is village and all. People unknowingly call it cheetah also. So here we talked about leopard. Second is cheetah. Cheetah is totally extincted from India. They are now only found in the forest of Africa. So that is what. So here, because of the human activity, because of the human killing and poaching, these animals are less in number. So likewise, we can call them as endangered species. Snow leopard is also considered as an endangered species because their number is less. They are found in the Himalayan range about 3,000 meters from the sea level. So to protect them, Wildlife Protection Scheme has introduced with Snow Leopard project, and this was launched by the year 2000. Red panda. Red panda are basically found in the cold regions of eastern Himalaya. They eat bamboo sprouts. Sprout means beginning of the bamboo plant. So they eat that. Eggs, small birds, insects, etc. They are considered as a lazy and inactive animals. They are found in the neighboring countries of India like China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. They are also considered as an endangered species. So to protect them, Red Panda project was being installed by the government. Now next is one-horned rhino. Most of the one-horned rhino is found in Assam state. Some of the rhinos are also found in Sundarban Delta, that is near West Bengal. There was a strategy of Rhino Vision of 2020. It was that to increase the number of rhinos at 3,000. So that is the target of Rhino Vision 2020. They are also considered as an endangered species and they are herbivorous animal. Vulture. They are known as cleanliness worker of the nature, that is scavengers. They are also known as scavengers. Why? Because they feed on the dead animals that is there over the surface of the earth. So likewise they are known as the cleaning agents of the earth. Total 9 such species are there. They are also considered as endangered. So to protect them, Vulture project was being established by the government by the year 2004. Let's start with Ganga water dolphin. Ganga water dolphin is a freshwater species because they are found in rivers, not in seas. Why? Because the seawater is very salty and dolphin won't survive in such salty water. So they need fresh water for their survival. That's why such dolphins are found in the fresh water of Ganga and Brahmaputra. But what is happening? Because of the human activities, these species are less in number. What humans do? Humans go for deforestation, that is cutting down of trees. Because of this cutting down of trees, soil erosion we can see, and all these soil get accumulated into the rivers, and that create problem for the survival of such dolphin. And also there are many other human activities like discharging industrial chemical waste into the rivers. So because of all these activities, dolphins are extincted. Now if you will visit Ganga river, you won't find such dolphin because of this human activity. So to protect them, government have came up with many measures like Ganga dolphin project. Such schemes were being launched by the government to save these dolphins. These dolphins are also called susu or Swiss for the sound it makes. They are also found in Nepal and Bangladesh. Now let's talk about crocodile, that is alligator. Alligator also want fresh water for their survival. So likewise they are also known as freshwater species. Now these alligators are less in number. So to protect them, crocodile project was being launched by the government. So because of this project, now we can see more amount of alligators. Next is dugong. It is also known as sea cow. Dugong is also an aquatic animal which is found along the sea coast of East Africa, Southeast Asia sea coast, and northern coast of Australia. They feed sea grass and vegetation. So we can see that sea grass and vegetation inside the water is their main food. They have been hunted because of their meat and fat. Earlier, this dugong was found frequently along Gujarat coast, especially along Saurashtra coast, but today it is rarely seen along Gujarat coast. So here we discussed about all the endangered species and the projects that were launched by the government to protect these endangered species. Sanctuaries, national park and bioreserve are established by the government for the protection of wildlife. So let's start with sanctuary. Total in India 531 sanctuaries are there. In Gujarat 23. So these sanctuaries are there to protect the wildlife. In this sanctuary, protection of some species, some animals are done, usually made to protect one specific animal species. So in all sanctuaries, only one type of species is being protected. Now let's talk about national park. Total 103 national parks are there in India. In Gujarat, 4 national park. These national park are not centered around one species. It looks after more than one species. So it looks after the complete ecosystem, that is environment. So it's not just considered with the protection of animals, but also considered with the protection of flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna means animals. So national park is established to protect both plants and animal. So like sanctuary, it is not focusing towards only one type of species. It is focusing towards the entire species with the flora, that is plant. Now let's talk about bioreserve. So total 18 bioreserves are there in India. In Gujarat, 1 bioreserves are there. So what is bioreserve? Bioreserve talks about the protection of land, water and air. So that is protecting physical and cultural diversities of a region. When we talk about physical, it consists of land, vegetation and wildlife. When we talk about culture, it talks about lifestyle of local tribes. So it completely protects the entire forest, we can say. Along with the animals, along with the plants, along with the land, along with the environment, it also protects human being, and that is what bioreserves. So here we talked about sanctuaries, national park and bioreserve. Now let's talk further points under this topics. Under sanctuary, human activities are permitted within certain limit. So in such sanctuaries, humans are allowed, but there is a restrictions. Only locals can use area for grazing and producing firewood without harming nature. Only locals means what? Adivasis. So only Adivasis are allowed to enter such sanctuary to gather firewood and also for the grazing. Grazing means cattle rearing. Sheep, goat, all such rearing is called grazing. मतलब गाय चराना है ना, ये सब grazing में आता है. So in sanctuary it is allowed. Now let's talk about national park. In national park there is a complete ban of human activity. That means not a single human is allowed to enter in such national park because it is completely restricted. Why? Because if in this national park human beings will enter, then their problem will arise. So there is a complete restriction zone for the human being. So no human activity, no grazing will be carried out in such national park. Whereas we talk about bioreserve. In this bioreserve, all external human movement restricted. So here we can say that in this bioreserve, only the Adivasis are allowed. No other humans from cities or any other from town is allowed to enter in such bioreserve. Let's talk about the establishment of these ecosystems. So sanctuary. Sanctuary is established by the state government. So sanctuary required only a small area. Whereas national park, they are established by the coordination of both state and central government. So we can say that national park is established by both state and central government. So for national park they need larger area. Whereas when we talk about bioreserve, they are established by the central government according to the international norms. Norms means rules and regulation. So to establish such bioreserve, they must follow such international norms. That is, the area should consist of 5,000 square kilometers with special arrangement for research and training about the bioreserve. So according to these norms, bioreserve must be established. So likewise, our India have 18 bioreserve. Out of this 18, one is there in the Gujarat. Let's talk about the examples of sanctuary, national park and bioreserve. Let's start with sanctuary. Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Kerala. Chandraprabha Wildlife Sanctuary is in Uttar Pradesh. Ettur Nagaram Wildlife Sanctuary is in Telangana. Now let's talk about the examples of national park. Kaziranga National Park is located in Assam. Jim Corbett National Park is established in Uttarakhand. Velavadar National Park and Gir National Park both are there in Gujarat. The Chingam National Park is established in Kashmir. Now let's talk about the examples of bioreserve. Ran of Kutch is located in Gujarat. Nilgiri Bioreserve is located in Tamil Nadu. Sundarban is located in West Bengal. Gulf of Mannar and Great Nicobar is towards the southern part of India, that is Deccan. So likewise, we have finished with this chapter. Thank you.